will try and get it done. But if it's not done, it's because I'm leaving at the crack of dawn, literally tomorrow. So right. So I don't know whether you can hear that in the background, Nick and Mar, but there's a cruise liner and it's got its foghorn on. It's quite funny. Right. Welcome. So, welcome to Karomity. Is that it going around the sutras? Just leaving. Okay, so welcome to tonight's practice, everyone, and also Nick and Mar online as well. I'm really, really pleased that it's not raining. I'm also pleased there's a wee breeze because just around the corner it was actually quite midgy. And also it was International Yoga Day yesterday. Was it 22nd yesterday? I've lost my dates. And we've had the summer solstice, so it would not be right not to do some sun salutations today, which is what we're going to do. We're not going to do 108, although I'm up for it. We're going to do just a few rounds. We'll see where we go with the flow. As you can see, I've no notes. This is in my head tonight. Apologies if I go off on one. What I will say is partway through the practice, we'll probably do about 45 minutes of a fairly swift yoga practice. I'm going to stop you guys and I'm going to get you to put any layers that you want on. And I'm going to transfer to these little beauties, my crystal bowls. So some of you would have heard them, some of you would have not. Hopefully you'll enjoy them. If it grates and it's just not for you, that's absolutely fine. If I see you leaving, it's no problem because you just don't know. So, but we'll take a relaxation through that and I'll set you up for a relaxation and you can actually seated, you can go and sit on the bank and look at the view, or you can kind of lie down. So there's lots of options. So welcome indeed. Oh, and then after the practice, and sorry, you'll have to imagine the virtual cake, Nick and Mar. Well, yeah, I know. We'll give you a wee bit. Amanda has saved my bacon today, and I have been dashing this week ridiculously. And so Amanda's put together some very, very exciting goodies for you. Thank you. Very exciting. Thank you. So, right, we shall start. So find a really comfy seated position. Give yourself plenty of space with your ankles. If you need to move them away from you, do. If you've got your rug or your blanket, you might just want to prop your pelvis up slightly, your hips up slightly, which just gives you plenty of space to sit and elongate the spine. And then, wow, look at it. Even a white unicorn here. Couldn't beat it. We're just going to take a moment. And we're going to take a moment to check in. So allow the body just to come to stillness. Maybe draw length in the spine. Just gently up through the body. Just allowing the shoulders to relax. Allow the knees to feel quite heavy. And become aware of the sit bones. And then turn the attention to the breath. Just a gentle inhale and exhale. Noticing how you're feeling. Noticing areas of tension in the body. Or maybe not. And then just draw gently a little kind of more through the spine, lifting up. Keep the knees grounded. And we're going to take both hands as we bring our awareness to our space here, the present moment. We're going to take the hands forwards and we're going to lift the hands all the way up into the air, looking at those wonderful clouds. And then bring just that right hand across to the knee. So you're coming just into a gentle twist. Keep length in that spine. Breathe into this twist. Inhaling as we lift all the way up. And exhaling across to the other side. Again, keeping the breath moving when we're holding a pose. So allow the breath to go, inhaling and exhaling. And then sweep the hands all the way back up to the sky as we come all the way up, back to the center. And then bring them behind you. And just interlace the fingers and draw the knuckles gently down. So you're just opening the chest slightly and the shoulders come towards each other. Just stretching through the neck. You might want to bring the chin to the chest. And when you release the hands, do it really gently because they can spring. Bring the hands all the way forwards, interlace the fingers forwards, push the palms away and really round the spine and draw the core in as much as you possibly can. Draw the hands gently behind you, interlacing the fingers again. Draw the kind of knuckles gently down, opening up the chest. As you open the chest, you might then want to drop the chin or you might not. It's really up to you. Gently release the hands, bring them forwards again. Switch, so push the palms away and then draw that core right in and tuck yourself in. Release the hands all the way back down. So your right hand's now going to come to the mat and the left hand's going to lift up into the air. And then we're going to bring it all the way across the body. If you want to, you can come down gently onto that arm to lower the arm slightly. Feeling that stretch to the side body. And then as we bring that hand all the way back up to the sky, you're going to take the elbow behind you. So just draw the elbow behind you. Switch hands, so hand comes up, right hand, the sky, and across, side stretch all the way across. And again, we just bring the hand all the way to the sky and then drop that elbow gently behind us. As a wee spider, it's going to have a real shock when I play that bowl. Oof. And all the way back. We're going to come to all fours. So bring yourself to all fours with money spiders galore. And stack so that your hands are underneath the shoulders and you can tuck your toes if you want to. Sometimes it gives you a little bit of an ankle kind of stretch. And then drop the belly, look forwards. And then as we exhale, I want you to draw your core up as much as you possibly can, tucking the chin to the chest. Inhale, we drop the spine, soften the elbows, looking forwards. Exhale, rounding that spine. You can untuck the toes if you want to. Dropping the core again. And then lifting forwards, tucking the toes, coming into that cow. And then come all the way to flat back. What we're going to do, we're just going to make sure you're pushing into your hands. So make sure you're spreading your fingers and pushing into the fingertips and the knuckle joints. So you kind of get a claw at the mat. And then draw the knees very gently off the mat. Really pull in the core. Keep the gaze down towards between the thumbs. And breathe here. Push back into the heels. Keep the breath moving. If you need to come down, do. And then draw the knees all the way down to the mat and just sink into a child's pose stretch. So sink gently into Balasana, into a stretch here. Take a nice deep breath into the sides of the body. Bring yourself all the way back up. We're going to extend the right leg long. So just extend it to the end of the mat. And just rock gently back and forwards, just warming the ankle, warming the body, the wrists. And then bring that right heel all the way up. Really draw that core in again and then flex the foot. So point the foot. Now, if this is comfy, keeping the hips facing forwards, you can, if you want to, lift that foot and maybe look a little higher. It really depends. If that pinches your back, then please be careful. And then draw the knee all the way in and up to the nose. And then extend that leg again. You can keep it with the toes down if that's comfy, or you can take a little stretch here. And then draw that knee all the way in, back to the nose. Bring the knee underneath you, so you're back to this stacked back position. And then other side, left leg comes out, and just take a moment just to rock back and forwards on that leg. And then lift that leg. Again, you've got choices here. So either toes keep pointing down, or you can arch the back a little bit as you do engage the core. So we're not rocking the core solid, we're just drawing it in to anticipate that movement. Draw the knee all the way towards the nose. And then all the way back. Knee back in towards the nose. Bring the knees underneath each other and bring your forearms down to the mat. So forearms are going to come down to the mat and walk the knees very slightly back. We're just going to sink. So we're going to sink the chest gently and the hips up to the sky. We're coming into little puppy dog pose. So you kind of have to push the hips up and those knees just slightly back, give you space. So you're arching in the back. And take a moment here. And then come up, still on the forearms, bring the hands gently together. We know where we're going right at the beginning of practice. If you don't know me, then I love this pose. So we're going to come all the way up to a little forearm plank. So what I've done is I've pushed through my heels, I've engaged my cores. Keep your knees down if you need to. Keep the knees down if you want to. But bring the front body into the back body by really drawing the core into the body. Push through those heels so you've got a lovely long line through that body. So if you feel your hips sinking, find that point where you're actually not lifting the hips or sinking the hips. Keep that breath working, the inhale and the exhale. And then drop the hips all the way down. Bring the forearms out in front of you into Egyptian lion pose. The forearms are going to be parallel with each other unless you need to soften the lower back, and then you're going to take the elbows out as much as you want. We're here. We're going to push into those forearms. Really feel the mat with the hands, claw at the mat. Walk the toes away from you. And then push the pelvis into the mat. What that should do is it should feel like your front body's engaging. And gaze can be down if you want to. Take a moment here. And then bring your hands to the side of the body. Elbows are going to tuck, but they're not going to push right in. So the elbows point towards the back of the mat, like little grasshopper wings. You're going to push the hands into the mat, and we're going to lift up gently into Bhujangasana. This is quite a strong pose if you're back, so keep it low if you need to. You're pushing away from the mat, and then all the way back down. Take the hands out to the side of the mat. Keep the elbows up this time. Draw in and up, wide Bhujangasana. Exhale. Hands back into the side. Inhale, Bhujangasana. And then exhale down. We're going to tuck the toes, push all the way up to downward facing dog. So lift up the hips, walk yourself into your downward facing dog. So feet hip width apart. Hands pushing into the mat. Allow the forearms and the triceps to push towards each other. Allow the neck to relax. Bend the knees to draw the sit bones high. And allow weight into the back of the heels, but don't push them too far. Take any movement that you need here. Really draw that belly to spine. And then you're going to look forward and either step or hop to the front of the mat to Uttanasana, to forward fold. So if you need to bend the knees to allow yourself to come down, that's fine. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Push into the heels. We're going to lift all the way up to a sunburst. Hands all the way to the heart. We're going to work through. So Lucy, can you see me? You sure you don't need to move? You're okay. Okay. We're going to work through the sun salutation, Surya Namaskar A and B, if with a few add-ins. I was going to say, if you need to take a drink of water, do. If at any point you need to take a break, come down into child's pose and just take a moment with the breath. The vinyasas in it are optional. If you have a full vinyasa practice, then that's absolutely grand. Clearly, we're not going to do 108 of them, but we are going to do some. So what I'll do is I will cue you through the first couple, and then we're going to just work through them. I will give you the instruction, and then I will not cue as much so that you can just get the flow of them. So that's what I mean. If you need to take a break, do. So your choice where your feet are throughout this. Remember, if the closer your feet are together, the narrower you are. So you're going to have to balance more. So if you want to keep yourself from kind of doing the wobble, especially because you're on grass and I'm on the tiles, then just keep them just shoulder width apart. So come to Tadasana. Really feel the feet grounding on the yoga mat. Take a moment here with the breath. And we drop the knees to lift the hands all the way up. So we bounce. Inhaling. Exhaling. So we fold through the midline. So I'm engaging the core. I'm allowing my feet to really push into the mat. I'm coming into forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale. Leave your right foot at the top of the mat and step into left into a runner's lunge. Bring yourself down to low lunge, Anjaneyasana, and then sweep the hands up, crescent moon, low lunge. Hands can come together. And as they come together, the option is to look up towards the hands and also to open the chest a little if you wish to. Make sure that the heel at the front of the mat is really pushing in. Draw the hands to frame the foot, step to plank. Again, plank, you can bring the knees down. Top body into the front body, gaze is long. Push up into downward facing dog by bending the knees and lifting the hips up high. Breathe all the way through this. I will go through the full, I'm just giving you cues at the moment. We're going to bring the left foot to the front of the mat into low lunge. Draw the knee down and then sweep the hands all the way up, low lunge. How you get there is up to you. You might want to step forwards or you might want to tripod the leg. Come all the way forwards, step to plank. Sweep the hips up by bending the knees to downward facing dog. And then bend the knees, look forwards, and you can either step all the way up the mat or you can jump to this forward fold. So the forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, flat back. Hands can come below or above the knee. Exhale all the way down. And then push through the heels, bend the knees, engage the core, sweep sunburst all the way back to mountain. Okay. Inhale, lift, arms can go up forwards or to the sides. This is where you take the variation that suits you. Exhale, bend the knees, engage the core, Uttanasana. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, we're going to leave the right foot at the front, step to runner's lunge, knee comes down, sweep the arms, lift out the hips up into low lunge. Hands come forwards, we step front foot into plank, push into the heel, lift that front body in and up, keep the hips in line with the body, and then push by lifting the knees, lifting the hips up to downward facing dog. If you're stepping your left foot by coming to tripod, anchor your right, you can lift your left foot, or you can step it through to low lunge on the other side. Knee comes down, push through that front heel, lift all the way up. Low lunge, crescent moon. Frame the foot, step to plank. Bend the knees, downward facing dog. Bend, look forwards, hop to the front if you wish, or step, and then sweep all the way up. Big sunburst to mountain. Excellent. Inhale, upward salute. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, flat back, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Anjaneyasana. So right foot at the front, low lunge, inhale, lift. Exhale, frame the foot, step to plank. Inhale here, exhale, downward facing dog. Anchor the foot, inhale, tripod. Opposite foot, exhale, back to runner's lunge. Sweep, inhale. Ooh, lost my balance, exhale all the way down. Step to plank. Inhale here, exhale to downward facing dog. Come to the front of the mat by stepping or hopping or walking. Uttanasana. Inhale, flat back, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, sunburst, all the way up. And exhale, hands to the heart. Utkatasana, so we take the hands forwards, we sit into chair. So we're going to sink into chair. Take a moment here in chair with the gaze forwards. Sink a little deeper. Draw yourself into forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Now we're going to frame the foot, keep the right foot at the front of the mat and step the left to Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Push up through the heels and then keep the arms moving. So that back foot's just at a slight angle. Well done. Very traditional flow. Inhale here, Virabhadrasana. Just make sure that you're pushing into those heels, which is going to allow the knees to align. We're going to frame the foot, step to plank. And then we're going to vinyasa. So however you want to come down to the mat, you can bring knees down if you wish, and then come all the way forwards and then into a cobra. Or you can, if you want the full chaturanga, we come down again, tuck the toes, lift the hips into downward facing dog. Take a moment in downward facing dog. Now we're going to anchor that right foot, lift the left all the way up to tripod, and then the left foot's going to come forwards to warrior 1 on the other side. So you get the back foot at that angle, push into the heels, and that base pose then allows you to come all the way up into warrior 1. Frame the hands by the foot and step to plank. Push to downward facing dog. Bend the knees. We're going to step to the top of the mat, and then we're going to rise slowly. Push into the heels, bend the knees, engage the core. Take the hands to the hips, and then gently lift yourself all the way up, back up to mountain. Take hands gently to the heart. Inhale, lift all the way up, and then sink to chair. Take a moment here. We're going to sweep the hands to our left-hand side, the backs of the hands to the left-hand side. We're going to come to a little revolved chair. So either you can open up from here, or you can turn the hands in and allow yourself to catch the back of the arm on the back of the knee as you sink in into a revolved chair. So there's lots of options here. We're going to inhale back to chair. Again, sweep the hands to the other side. You can either open up, or you can keep the hands into you and use the back of the arm against the back of the leg. Inhale, sweep to chair. Legs will be saying hello. Maybe? Not working hard enough, Jenny, then. We'll have to do it a few more times. We're going to exhale, Utkatasana. Inhale, flat back. Draw the hands to the front of the mat. You can step or hop to plank. Take a moment here in plank. And then gently bring the hips up high by bending the knees. Allow yourself to come to downward facing dog. Take a moment in downward facing dog. Just if you need to, walk the feet, circle the ankles, move the hands. Breathe. Anchor your left foot. We're going to lift the right up into tripod. And then open the hip by just opening the knee, bending the knee and bringing the foot, just the heel towards the body. Keep yourself with the same weight in each hand. You can do this on forearms if you don't want to be on the wrists. And then we're going to bring that right knee all the way forwards to the middle of the mat, hovering. Not going to go down yet. And then the right knee is going to go to the right hand side of the mat. Left foot's going to come across and we're going to sink that back leg. We're coming into a pigeon pose here. Now, it doesn't matter where that back foot is. Everyone's going to be very different, okay? And then you can keep that pose quite high, or you can come just to the forearms And allow yourself just maybe the hands to come gently together. If it's uncomfortable for you, untuck the leg and just come down to a child's pose. It's quite strong on the hips. You can take this right down into a sleeping pose if you want to. You can bring the hands right down and the forehead down to the mat if you wish. And then gently unravel. So to unravel, you bring your hands, you tuck that back toe, that lifts the pressure up. You draw the knees together, sink the hips back just in a child's pose, a little stretch here. Just a moment to take an inhale and exhale. Rise back up, bring yourself to that stacked back position before we come up to downward facing dog. Anchor the right foot, lift the left now up to a tripod. Try and keep the heel at the back towards the mat. You're not pushing it towards the mat, you're just allowing weight in it naturally. Open that hip by bending the knee and maybe allowing the heel to go towards the glutes. And then bring the knee all the way forwards, hover, and then that knee goes out to the side of the mat and we slide that back foot. So it comes across as there, that's it. So it comes across. So the knee goes out to the edge of the mat, left knee to the left side, right foot towards the right-hand side of the mat. And that gives you that little pigeon pose. And then we walk that back foot, the right foot behind us. That's it. And then that allows us to come down to the mat. You can keep up high if you want with this pose. You don't have to come all the way down if it's uncomfy. And just take a moment with the inhale and exhale here. And gently bring the hands to support you. Draw the back toe, so just a tuck, which allows you to lift. Draw the knees together and then come into that little counter pose. So we come into a little child's pose where we sink the hips back. Arms don't have to stretch in child's pose. You could bring your hands just to the middle of the mat in front of you and rest your forehead on your hands. Really arch through the back as we come all the way up. Always a good opportunity for a little cat-cow wherever you are. And then step up to the top of the mat. And then draw yourself very gently all the way back up. Roll the shoulders back. Keep an eye on my time. And just allow yourself a moment in mountain. Just take a moment just to listen as well. Then we're going to take a flow. So wherever you are, just choose where your feet are. I'm going to just take mine just slightly apart. And I'm going to work my right hand, because I'm kind of across you. My right hand side is going to be my right hand side. So it's just easier for me to do that and say that at the same time. So we're going to take one-legged mountain. So we're going to take this by lifting the right leg. So take the weight just gently onto the left foot before you lift that right leg. Just a wee reminder that releases the knee and the hip, and we draw ourselves all the way up. So oh dear, look, the balance is shot today. There we are. All the way up into one-legged mountain. We're going to inhale here. As we exhale, push through the heel and come forwards. If you wobble at all, it's fine. You're on grass. I shouldn't be wobbling at all. We're going to bring the hands all the way back and come into Virabhadrasana 3. Remember that you don't have to lift the heel as high. You can keep it down towards the mat. Take a moment here. We're going to drop that back foot gently into a high lunge pose, lifting to high lunge. Drop the back knee if you need to, just gently to draw the pose up. And then gently soften the knee all the way down. Bring the hands gently above you. Bring the hands forwards. And now this back foot is going to anchor, and we're going to sweep the left foot up to tripod. This left foot is now going to go through the right, underneath the right arm into falling star. So I'm going to bring the knee, the right foot across to the right hand side and onto the knife edge. So the my left foot is under. I've got my right model. My left foot has gone under my right arm. So I'm on the left hand side of my left foot. Sweep that left foot all the way back up into tripod pose. Bring your right hand into the middle of the mat slightly. Then roll onto the right hand side of your foot and see if you can come into a little side plank variation. Roll all the way back, left foot to the sky. And then bring that left foot all the way down to the mat. Right foot swaps now. Right foot comes up all the way to the sky. Right foot's going to go under the left into falling star. So you bring it right forwards and then come into falling star. Hand comes down to the mat. Right foot sweeps all the way up. Left hand now comes into the center of the mat. Turn the left foot so you're on the side and see if you can come into a little side plank variation. You might come into a little side plank tree. Side plank? Yes, it is. Bring the hand all the way back down, roll forward. Lift the right foot all the way up and bring yourself back down to downward facing dog. Take a moment by bending the knees, looking forwards and stepping and hopping towards the front of the mat into Uttanasana. Inhale to flat back. Exhale all the way down. And then gently either rise by pushing through the feet, hinging at the hips and lift, or you can sunburst. As we keep going, the hands are going to come lifting up. The left foot's going to come all the way up. Don't worry if you wobble. Hands are going to come gently behind you as we come to Virabhadrasana 3. You can keep the toes pointed down if you wish, or you can keep them kind of pointed through the toe. It doesn't matter. Toe is just going to come gently to touch the mat as we come all the way back into high lunge. You're doing really well. Drop that back knee. Low lunge, hands come together. Bring the hands to frame the foot and bring the knees together now. Take a moment here, away from the beetle. Go away and sink the hips back. And just take a moment. Spiders, baby spiders are one thing, beetles are another. Walk your hands towards you and lift yourself up onto your knees. So the knees are just in line with the hip points, and keep sweeping the hands all the way up to the sky. Now, your hands might come into the lower back. So we're going to come to a little camel variation here. So it might be the hands are just supporting in the lower back. Camel variation, and I'll say this every time, it's not about bending the lower back, okay? Please don't try and bend at the kind of the base of the spine. You're actually just opening the chest. So when we come, we're supporting the lower back, but when we come into camel variation, you're lifting open, and actually then it's the chest and the collarbones that are opening rather than, and naturally then you get a little back bend rather than kind of bending at the base of the spine. Not good for you. If you have a full camel variation, the sheeting hair, if you have a full camel variation, you're very welcome then. You lean back very slightly, which engages the core and the kind of the front. If this is enough for you, that's fine. And then you might find that you have a camel variation and into full camel, or you can play with hands, but please go to where you're comfy with. If you've got blocks, you're very welcome to use a block and bring that into the practice. Keep the neck long if you're in camel, just keeping that neck soft so that you're keeping the neck so you can breathe. And then come very gently all the way forwards and come to wide child's pose. The knees come as wide as the mat, toes together, and allow yourself to come all the way down and take a moment here in child's pose. Really allow the hips to sink towards the heels. Gently walk the hands towards you. Sweep the feet behind you. We're coming to seated. So bring yourself, shuffle yourself so you've got space to come down. And take a moment here. And then take a gentle roll down, really slow. See if you can count to 25. Or 5 at least. And then come all the way down and take a moment with the feet as wide as the mat, knees together. And if you want movement, that's fine. Just go for a gentle movement here on the back. And you might want to bring the knees into the chest. There's lots of things you might just gently just be winding down the practice. You might find that actually coming up into bridge pose, lifting the hips allows you a stretch to the front body. It might be that you're rocking and rolling. I'm not going to rock and roll because I don't want to knock the balls behind me. But you might just find a place where movement is just, or maybe stillness. Just taking a moment, allowing yourself to release the base of the spine. And maybe then just come with the feet to the sides of the mat. Maybe the knees together. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to find a place where you're comfy. So if you're starting to chill down, I'd like you to get a blanket or your coat or whatever you have. And I'm going to hopefully, I hope Nick and Mark can hear these bowls. I'm going to be over them. I have many money spiders on me. So maybe that's good luck. And I'm going to take you through a relaxation. Now it's an extended relaxation. So Lucy, are you warm enough over there? You sure you'll be all right for 10, 15 minutes? Okay. If you're not, you can always come and sit up. It's no problem at all if you get cold. Sorted. So I'm going to use the bowls to guide you through a simple yoga nidra practice. So this is an extended relaxation. And if you need to move at any point, then please do. So please now get ready for yoga nidra. So gently lying on your back, you can bend your knees. Adopt the pose that we call Shavasana. And in this pose, the body is just allowing itself to feel supported. Shuffling the shoulders. And just come to a place where you're completely comfortable. Gently closing your eyes. And take a deep breath. And as you breathe out, feel the cares and worries of the day just flow out of you. And in Yoga Nidra, we allow ourselves to come into a state of deep relaxation. But we don't generally fall asleep. If you feel that you're falling asleep, start to concentrate on your breath. Bringing about the feeling, that inner feeling of relaxation. Concentrating on the body and that complete stillness. Aware of the whole body. And the practice of Yoga Nidra begins. And we're going to begin a rotation of consciousness, a rotation of awareness by going through the different parts of the body, keeping yourself alert, but just becoming aware as I talk you through the process. becoming aware of the right side of the body, the right hand, the thumb, the fingers, the right arm, the shoulder, the right side of the body, the right foot, the left hand, the left thumb, the left fingers, the left arm, the left side of the body, the left leg, the left foot. And then bring your awareness to the breath. And I want you to start counting down from 27. 26. 25. 24. And keep the count going with the breath gently rising and falling. And then let the numbers just ease gently away, leaving yourself with the breath, just gently rising and falling. And I want you to keep the awareness on your breath. Just listening, letting the sounds just travel through the body. Sounds of the bowls, the sounds around us. And then gently become aware of your natural breath. Gently become aware of the body. Your body relying totally relaxed on the floor, the breathing quiet. Become aware of the space around you, aware of the sounds around you. Start to bring awareness back into the physical body. Back into the fingers. Back into the toes. And then gently, very gently, move the fingers, gently moving the toes. Take a breath. And the practice of Yoga Nidra is complete. Taking a moment to gently stretch. And then to gently roll onto your side when you're ready. Taking a moment and when you're ready, coming all the way back up to seated. And bringing the hands gently together. Just gently take a breath. Just be aware of the inhale and the exhale. And then take the hands and gently rub the palms together. Bringing the hands to the eyes. Hands to your heart. Taking an inhale and exhale. And thank you very much for joining the practice tonight. Just take a moment and Nick and Ma, I don't know if you heard that at all, but maybe it came across, maybe it didn't yet. But I'll just switch off the recording and there we are. Just take a moment. And I'll see you, won't see you next, will I see you next week? Yes, I'll see you next week, ladies, yes. Take care. Bye, bye.